Our experiment is focused on whether eating from the same napkin of poke increases a participant's willingness to cooperation and level of closeness with the other participants they are eating with. We measure the level of cooperation through a game counting the number of rounds or strike days it takes for the participants to reach an agreement. Closeness is measured at the end of the game through individual surveys. We then compare these results to subjects who ate from separate napkins and played the same game. Our hypothesis is that participants who share food from the same napkin of poke will have a lower number of strike days. However, the closeness between participants will not change even if participants ate from a shared napkin of poke or a separate napkin of poke. Our dependent variables were the number of strike days, experience closeness to the partner between participants' design. We have 3 pairs of participants and they were randomly chosen. The participants are required to read and consent the experiment form. 2 of the groups are required to eat from the different plates, and 1 group was required to eat from same plate. The time limit is 5 minutes. After participants finish eating their food, they are given instructions about a negotiating game. During the game, 1 participant represents management and the other represents union. They need to negotiate and make a compromise as soon as possible. The strike of the days where they reach the agreement shows their negotiation level, the sooner the better. After the game, we ask them to fill in a survey regarding how they feel while negotiating with their partner. We use the result to calculate their level of closeness. Here is the result of our experiment. When comparing with the shared plate group, we use the average of the data. On average, the unshared group takes 3.5 rounds to meet the agreement, and the average price they get is 10.6975. In the after-experiment questionnaire, the first 3 questions are in positive attitude, and the average score that unshared plate group ranked are all higher than the shared plate group. Question 4, which is about navigate attitude towards the partner, the score of unshared group is lower. This means that participants from unshared group feels closer and more friendly with each other. After comparing our experimental results with the results of the original study, we found that there are some major differences between the results. First, considering the relationship between the days of strike and consumption conditions, our experiment shows that pairs of sharing the same plate have more days of strike than the original study. Besides, pairs eating food from separate plates tend to have fewer days of strike than the original one. Then we draw the conclusion that pairs sharing food from the same plate went into more days of strike than pairs eating from the separate plates. Second, with regards to the relationship between the consumption conditions and the closeness between participants, we do find an effect caused by consumption conditions in which pairs eating food from separate plates feels closer to the partner. After analyzing the result between our study and the original one, we conclude that there are several factors that influence the result which are discrepant with the original study. First, our participants already know each other, and for 1 group of unshared plates, 2 of the participants are close friends. By this, we assume that close friends will cooperate with each other to achieve the goal. In our case, they tend to have fewer days of strike. In further study, we believe it is necessary to find and pair participants who are not familiar with each other so that there's only 1 independent variable, which is shared plate or not. Second, we assume that individuals' personality is affecting their behavior of cooperating with others. 1 of our participants in the shared group values disciplines of keeping the price as high as possible in sacrifice of most cost, which indicates that different people's expectations of values are different because of their personality. For further study, we think it is more objective to conduct a pre-experimental survey to choose from participants who have relatively neutral outlooks of different values. Finally, we think since our sample size of only 6 students is far fewer than the 57 participants in the original study, the result of the experiment also lack universality. We believe with more data collected, the results of our study might change accordingly.